Right, so I think we've got the water pretty much finished now. I might just have to do a little bit of work to the waterline, but we'll see. Let's get this tree in here and then we should do the bank. After that, we should be pretty much ready to rock and roll. Right, let's get going. So I need to get a little darkish green, nothing too dark here. That might be a bit too dark. Pretty much made that picture, that tree disappear now. I'm going to put the branches in and then we'll go for the leaves. So using a Rosemary & Co. #1 Series 771 rigger. And I'm going to use the white spirit to thin the paint down so that we get a nice sharp line. I'm not going to use liquid, I'm going to use that white spirit because I can get a sharper line with that. So I'm just using the very tip of the brush to get this fine line here. I'm not pushing the brush down at all on the panel, just dragging that tip along. Right, that will do for the branches and twigs. Let's get going on the leaves. Now, they are a bit brighter than the leaves behind it, and that will help to make that look as if it's standing in front of these trees at the back. So I've just got to make sure I keep that nice strength in colour and brightness. So we're getting these leaves really strong over the water here. They like that in the photo anyway, but I just want to really get them to stand out. And I'm not doing, at the moment at least, on these sort of outside leaves, I'm not really mixing any thinner with it or any liquid. So as we come in, you've got the sort of more internal leaves here, so they're not quite on the outside. They're not quite as bright. So I'll use a bit more white spirit to get it to flow, and don't have to worry about it being quite so punchy, quite so light. Okay, right, now to do the blossom. And I'm mixing, obviously, the titanium white, and there's a little bit of that green in there, so it's not brilliant white, it's just off white. And that should be enough. Could probably use a different brush actually to try and do more of a more en masse. I'll use this fan brush. See how that works out. As you can see, with this technique here, I'm using a fan brush, but it's quite an old fan brush, and because of that, you've got a really irregular edge. It's not, it's not very sharp like a new one would be, and because of that, you get more of an uneven pattern of leaves. Although I wouldn't do the whole thing like this, I think when you get into that point where you're near finishing the tree, I think it works quite well because it makes it look a little bit less regular. You don't want it to look too neat. And also, it's good if you want to just change the colour a little bit, subtly. I've warmed that up a little bit now. It's quite an effective way of doing it. build the body of the tree up using the, as I did with the rigger, so there's a pattern of leaves, you've got that sort of triangular shape, and then afterwards go over it just a little bit, not too much, with an irregular pattern like that, and that gives you a fairly decent pattern of leaves, and I think makes it look a little bit more realistic.